What's cooking, folks? Vermillion Phoenix here, and today I am taking a look at some more Orcs Must Die Unchained, although this time we're going to be 5-starring the Wall. Now, the Wall is a very large map, and it has 3 entry points that you will have to deal with, all running towards your rift. So, go ahead and jump in, and we're going to be doing the same thing that I've done in my previous videos. We're going to be using mechs, going to drop the additional items, and the perks. So it's just going to be me, the traps, and the game. Same trap levels as the previous video. We have tier 4 barricade spikes, tier 3 tar trap, brimstone, and arrow wall, and tier 2 concussive pounder, tier 1 swing, and then that lovely starting lion guardian. Alright, jumping right in. We have the starting area where our rift is, and we're going to go ahead and run straight through this portal here out to the front of the wall. Now you have to be careful if you run too far out. As soon as you hit this bottom area, where you see the arrows raining, the ballistas will start dealing you damage. So you have a couple of things you can do here. The first is to put some arrow walls on the corner and start dropping your spike traps at the right place. Yes. Okay, so you want to build them about 1 trap unit from the left and right and the center. This will make sure that you are getting the highest concentration of the enemies coming into your traps. Wasting too much trap space or too much of your trap limit trying to spread things out here will be very detrimental to you surviving the stage, so be careful with that. You want to pretty much get spike maces going as far back as possible, and you need these arrow walls to pepper the enemies as they continue going back. So you're mostly just going to have these guys coming through, and they're not going to be too dangerous even when they get to heavy orcs, because you're going to have a very large amount of traps coming through here. Not to mention arrow walls are pretty legit traps. Okay. Now the goal here is actually to get it to the point where the traps are doing the work and you are not. Nice.
I'll just leave this right here.
Alright. So we got through that wave pretty well. We got a decent amount of coin. One of the things that I would like to see, like, I feel like this screen, and I've probably said that before, is still a relic from older games, or the way that this game was designed for Siege. Like, whether or not you killed a boss or, you know, assisted in killing a boss isn't really relevant information, but like how much coin you've earned and spent would probably be a lot more relevant to the gameplay for survival. And that's none of that information is here. The loadout is pretty slow. Gives you consumables, your current upgrades as far as your weavers, and your gear. I'm not too sure that knowing what gear somebody else has is super useful information for other players. I mean, it's useful to you, but you can see which weavers you selected by hitting you and going through here. It's a little bit slower. But I guess if you wanted to give feedback to people that you're playing with on their weavers, you could do that. This doesn't seem like something that would be super relevant to me.
I'll just leave this right here.
Okay, and so with the last set of here, you actually want to expand this just a bit.
I'll never notice this.
And that way you get those pounders covering just about everything. You're going to build tar traps, or sorry, not tar traps, but spike traps underneath those. And then we go back to building those tars over here. Now, if you don't know why the tar traps are needed, again, see that a little bit later. There's a Earth Lord, which splits into smaller enemies, is going to show up. He ultimately causes you a whole lot of problems if he manages to get past your Guardian. So slow him as much as possible on his way to the Guardian, and that's pretty much the best way to guarantee that he does not get to your Rift. Right, so these guys are going to try some interesting things. We're not going to let them. First thing I'm going to do is place those over there, and then I'm going to block off this area, which will force any enemy going that way to turn around. Okay, now these guys are actually going to get a little bit of distance since I Maged V immediately. We're going to run to the head of the line, zapping them along the way. Don't let their kobolds get anywhere near your Rift. It's not a good idea. Pretty much the point of the game. Zap them as they try to come across. Try not to miss any, and you'll be great. Right, gonna grab that bonus damage on in your faces just to make sure that any heavy enemy that you have to shoot is immediately murdered. And then make sure you actually use it. So if you have trapped well in the center, they will literally just die trying to go through it, which is great. And now we can actually begin building some more traps up top. We're going to drop a couple of brimstones, guitars, arrow walls. I guess we can arrow wall there too. Arrow wall over here. You're gonna just kind of arrow wall your way down. In addition to, whoa, I did not trap the right side up quite enough. So let me go reposition those barricades. Show you exactly what I did wrong. So, this little crack here, they can actually walk through. If you want these barricades to work, they have to be inside the shadows. Not shoot? No. Okay. Wanted to see if I could shoot those flaming metal oil vats that they have at the top of the main corridor, but they're not visible from here. You have to actually go through the little parapets there. Alright, so these guys are going to die, and now that they have, we are going to put these in the shadows. See, now that they're in the shadows, orcs cannot walk through there. You can tell because you get pushed on top of the barricades as you try to walk over them. Now that all of the orcs should be pathing this way, I can place the last one of those, and then put the rest of the arrow walls over here. Alright, that should be mostly enough to actually take care of them. Now, what you'll need to do from here on out is actually sort of watch the flanks. The left and right side are going to be the more difficult areas to actually defend. And actually, one of the things I want to do here is drop some brimstones at the bottom.
I'll never notice this.
That's going to catch any enemies that happen to stray through there very quickly. Okay, so that's everyone except for the boss. Boss gets himself killed on the traps, and with a little assistance from the Guardian. And then we are going to begin trapping on the right side. We're going to match Z again, and just keep on running.
Our enemies are breaking through elsewhere.
So I think this side may actually come with a boss. That doesn't look like it yet.
Almost hurt myself on that.
Feel free. Oh. Alright, we're going to back up a little bit and make sure that we get healed. There's the boss. It looks like we got Smolder. Not a boss, but an enemy hero. So, if you can, try to take out Smolder without using in your faces. As soon as she gets stuck there, whoa. Step back away from her and let her respawn. Once she does that, you can stun her, blow her up again, and no more problems. Now, take Persistent when you get to the last level, because if you're playing solo, that is a lot of additional damage. I'm going to do the same thing we did before there, and put those in the shadows.
just leave this
And
right
then we're
here.
going to start our
Twice.
crazy
cut once.
array of arrow walls.
Never noticed this. Whoopsie. Almost hurt myself on that.
Hey. Gonna put
I'll
those
just leave this
brimstones
right
there.
You'll never notice
Some
this.
more
Our
spikes.
barricades are under attack. They've destroyed our
Barricades are gonna get destroyed because I did not run back over to the left side. Just zap whoever happens to actually go anywhere near them. Replace them. You're gonna wind up with extra cash when this map is over anyway. Alright, and then as you pick off the smaller enemies, and because we have persistent now, shots sort of travel between the things that you initially hit and hit more stuff. So we have that first set of walls set up, and then we're going to duplicate them on the other side just like we did
Twice.
before.
Cut once.
And then
Whoopsie. Almost hurt myself on that.
brimstones at the bottom. So that may actually be, that's most of our trap count.
Twice. Cut once.
See how well that works out. Oh, there's a smolder again. Just keeps coming back, doesn't she? I couldn't actually get smolder herself, but we were lucky enough to almost snipe her to death from there. We just needed to die. Come on. Alright, it looks like she died. And then she came back, and she's permanently dead now. Alright, good stuff. And then we're going to run back over to the other side since we have some heavier minions coming through, and take them out. Keep your eye on the heaviest enemies that are coming through at any time. Sometimes you get an opportunity to run between the lanes, and you want to sort of plan how you engage the enemies to make sure that the heavy ones, especially those that have health regen, like those trolls there, don't really get too far. Not much else that I could really do there. Although, just in case, you can actually
You'll never notice this.
drop a couple of those there. That will help
They've
in
summoned
case
a boss
anything
minion.
crazy happens to go through. Now, this boss minion is sort of ridiculous. If you come out to the center here, you can actually start sniping him, which is probably one of the best things to do. Those guys are actually really tough too, so you'll want to try to stop them. You can't stun the Earth Lord, so be careful with that. I completely missed that shot. Let's go ahead and unchain, and we'll start going nuts here. If you can clear these Earth Lords out, you have nothing to worry about for the rest of the map. Just grab the pickups here if they can be useful to you, mainly the Unchained ones, and venture over to wherever you can see the enemies coming down the stairs. That's where you're going to want to focus the last bit of your attention. And it looks like we got about almost 3 minutes here to actually clean the enemies up. So if you need a bit more time between stages just to set things up, go for it. But looks like I'm used to setting this up enough so that I didn't really need it. And then they can just burn to death.
Did we win again? Yeah, we did.
And there we go, 5 stars. All right, we got a victory. So, as usual, if your traps are a little bit lower leveled, you may have to do a bit more footwork just to take out the enemies, but making sure that you spread them out enough so that they have the ability to refire on the waves of enemies coming through will help you out the best. 265,000 trap damage is a lot. Either way, that has been The Wall. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks as always for watching. And until next time, have a good one, folks.